For over 300 years, Elizabeth has been a thriving city.
A center for business and commerce with the busiest seaport on the eastern seaboard.
The birthplace of Princeton University. Even Alexander Hamilton went to school here. Yes, that Hamilton. Not this Hamilton. This one. And our schools are still great, as a matter of fact. We're the best urban school district in New Jersey.
Our city is also rich in diversity. Just take a stroll through our neighborhoods, the first stop for many immigrants on their American journey.
From North Elizabeth to Peterstown, from Elizabethport to Elmora, our city reflects a multicultural spectrum of over 50 countries and over 30 languages.
There's so much to love about our hometown of Elizabeth.
This is where we've grown up and we couldn't be prouder.
My name is Cassiel Ramirez, and my Elizabeth story began when my grandparents immigrated from the Philippines in the 1960s. My grandmother became a nurse and my grandfather served for the U.S. Navy. From the start, they called Elizabeth home and raised my mom and her siblings here. My mom and dad settled in the Bayway neighborhood, and my sister and I have loved all the things that make our city great, from dance classes at Miss Joanne's School of Dance, to learning to swim at the high school pool, to dressing up as reindeer to light the neighborhood Christmas tree. I loved growing up in Elizabeth.
I'm Greg Markowitz, and Elizabeth is a city that I have been privileged to call home. Every time I hear the name Elizabeth, I think about the warm spring nights I've spent playing baseball on the hand-ratty fields on Westfield Avenue, and of course I remember after winning a game going down to DeCosmo's Italian Ices or Magic Fountain to celebrate. Our city has a grand sports history. Playing baseball for the Elmora Youth League and later becoming captain of the EHS Minutemen is an essential part of my Elizabeth story. I'm proud to have grown up in Elizabeth.
My name is Georgelana Balasage. Of all the places in New Jersey they could have gone, I'm so glad my parents picked Elizabeth to make a home when they came here from Haiti. Growing up in Elizabeth has brought me wonderful memories of playing in many of its numerous parks like Warrenenko, Montano, or my favorite, Phil Rizzuto Park, also lovingly known as Blue Park. Everywhere you go, the people of Elizabeth are always ready to make you feel welcome. I love the arts, and Thomas Jefferson Arts Academy has given me a world-class education. I'm proud to have won third place in a statewide poetry recitation contest that featured over 30,000 participants. Growing up in Elizabeth has made my American dream possible.
Every story is different.
Every voice is unique.
But we all have one thing in common. Elizabeth is the place our family chose to call home, and we couldn't be happier.
Elizabeth has so much to offer.
Great people, great neighborhoods, fabulous restaurants, and if you love to shop, boy, Elizabeth is the place for you.
Our streets boast many, many shops, and our mall is popular with locals and tourists alike.
The Mills at Jersey Gardens, IKEA, and Toys R Us are destination shopping and are right next door to some pretty awesome hotels and restaurants.
Always growing.
Always changing.
Always thriving.
Elizabeth is the place to be.
We love growing up in a growing Elizabeth.
Welcome back to our city. You just saw a video about growing up in Elizabeth. And these three students all have a story, not only about how that video was made, but a story about growing up in Elizabeth. And I want to welcome Mr. Greg Markowitz. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Miss Cassiel Ramirez. Cassiel, welcome. And Miss Georgelana Balisage.
Thank you.
Georgelana, welcome.
Thank you.
So the video that we just saw, that we just watched, is talking about growing up in Elizabeth. So who wrote it, camera, how did you all come about your specific roles on this video? You want to start with you, Georgelana?
Yeah.
What year are you in it?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior, okay.
Yeah. So basically, I'm senior class president at my school, and I like to oversee like all the different strands at my school because originally I'm a theater strand. But I usually walk in, help out Miss Rivera anytime I can, and she's like, Georgelana, I'm working on this project and I'd like to know your feedback on it. So I'm like, sure. And then she asked me about like if I grew up here, and I was just like, yeah. And she wanted to know like my story about like my parents coming here from Haiti. And then I wrote her an essay and she really liked it. So she was like, we're doing a video on growing up in a growing Elizabeth, and I'd like you to partner in it. I'm like, sure, totally. So
tell me what was in that essay.
So basically, I first talked about my parents coming here almost 20 years ago, and then I talked about like my favorite place in Elizabeth being Phil Rizzuto Park, and I talked about how I knew Elizabeth was the place for me when I was at Phil Rizzuto Park one day, and I was riding my bike. It was a brand new bike, and I was so excited. But then this kid out of nowhere, he just came and like crashed into me, and then rode on his bike away laughing, and I was so nervous because I was so self-conscious.
And that made you like coming? That made you think this is a spot?
No.
Oh, somebody else helped you?
Yeah, like literally almost everyone at the park that day, like they came up to me, and I'm so self-conscious, so I'm thinking, oh my God, they're gonna come and they're gonna start laughing at me and everything. So I was so scared, but they actually came. They helped me, made sure that I was okay and everything. And one guy even like helped me fix my bike. And I was just like, wow, I've never like been in such an environment where people were so welcoming and took care of me like they were my family. So I was just like, Elizabeth really is the place for me, you know?
Nice story.
Thank you.
Cassiel, how did you, what year are you, first of all?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay, you're the young one of the group here.
Yeah.
Tell us about your efforts in this video.
Okay. So Miss Rivera told us one day that we had to do a video for growing up in Elizabeth, and I was like, oh, I grew up in Elizabeth, and so did my mom and my grandma. So she picked me to be one of the people, and I did my Elizabeth story. My grandma came here in the 1960s for a nursing program, and then my grandma from the Philippines.
From the Philippines.
Yeah, and then my mom grew up here, and then yeah.
So tell us about your story then.
Oh, my story.
Did you have to write an essay like George?
Oh, no, I wrote a little paragraph, and then Mrs. Rivera helped me branch off of that, and then we wrote the script for the video, and yeah.
So what was your grandmother's story about coming here? Why did she come here?
She was going to become a nurse, so she went to a nursing program, and then she met my grandfather, who is here in Elizabeth from the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she go to the nursing program at Elizabeth General?
Yes.
Here?
Yes.
She did?
Yeah.
Okay. We had somebody on last week who went to the same program. She's still a nurse?
No, she's retired.
She's retired now. Okay. And how do you fit into this story?
Well, I've been in Elizabeth all my life, and I love it. It's a great place to learn and grow up, and yeah.
Good. Greg, how'd you fit into this story?
Well, I'm actually the third generation
I was
of
going to say,
my
you've been
family.
here a while.
Yeah, I've
you don't
been
have
here
a story like
for quite some
Cassiel
time.
or George Lana, yeah.
I'm actually the third generation of my family to be born and raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I was actually with Mrs. Rivera when we were told that we had to create a video. So I was the first student that was aware of this video coming about. And I remember sitting down with her during TV class and during my lunch to come up with the idea for what we were going to do, the shots we were going to get. And I'm pretty sure I was the first student she asked to be one of the students that was in it.
And what's your story?
My story is growing up down the street from the mayor of Elizabeth, living in Elmore Hills.
You didn't tell the story about getting hit with the baseball, did you?
No, I didn't tell the story about getting hit with a baseball. I should have shared that. That's pretty interesting. But should I share it now? Just
sure,
really
go ahead.
quick. For those of you that don't know, I was playing in a Little League game once, and I collided with a teammate, and the ambulance came to check me out and my teammate out, and we were fine. But my mother passed out at the game, and my dad was going to have to go to the hospital with her, so my dad needed to figure out somewhere for us to stay while he went to the hospital with my mom, and we hear this voice behind us say, they can stay at my house, and we turn around, and it's the mayor of Elizabeth offering for us to stay at his house.
Yeah, so
that
your
was
mother
very
got so upset, she wound up going to the hospital.
Yeah.
When you got into that little collision.
Yeah, when I got
Interesting
into
story.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess you still share that with Mom, right?
Yeah, I mentioned it a couple times every now and then.
So who's the writer? Who's the camera person on this, and how did this all work?
Since we each had our own little snippets of, well, I wrote the essay and they wrote their snippets, we were all writers on this story, and Miss Rivera, she helped us out as well. Camera, I'm pretty sure Miss Rivera, she asked all her classes to go out in Elizabeth and videotape their favorite places in Elizabeth, and they got some really great shots. Cassiel, Rayshawn, all of them.
So what's your favorite spot? Is it still that park?
Yeah.
You still go there once in a while and kick back?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Cassiel, what's your favorite spot?
My favorite spot is Joanne's School of Dance. I've been going there since I was 2, and it's like my second family there.
So you like the School of Dance?
Yeah.
And what's your favorite dance?
Ballet.
Ballet's your favorite?
Yeah.
Greg, you got a favorite spot?
Williams Field.
Williams Field is your favorite?
Yeah, Williams Field for sure.
Okay. So when it comes to editing and all of this stuff, who did the editing?
Well, I worked on it with a fellow classmate, and we just looked for the best shots to help us put the story together, made sure it made sense, and came out really great.
Video camera or cell phone? How'd you do this?
Video camera.
Video camera?
The quality is way better on the camera.
Okay. You could have done it on the cell phone, but the camera's really better. Right? So social media is going to help you in this?
I feel like I know Mrs. Rivera posted it on Facebook, so I know social media is going to help us with getting a lot of views from people in Elizabeth to see this video. So I feel like social media will be a big help in getting this spread across Elizabeth.
So let me ask the 2 seniors. Sorry, Cassiel. Let me ask the 2. What do you do next? Where do you go? You got plans after high school?
I'm planning on going to Montclair State University. I recently got my acceptance.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm planning on studying business administration and minoring in musical theater.
Good for you. Greg?
I'm actually undecided in my field of study, and I'm waiting to hear back from 2 more colleges, but as of right now, I'm probably leaning towards Rutgers University.
Good for you. I want to wish the 2 of you well as seniors moving on.
Thank you.
So Cassiel, since I asked him a question about the future, do you plan on staying in your next 2 years at high school in the theater program or the film program here?
Yes, I'm staying.
You like it? Mm-hmm. So the other question I have here is social media, and you said that you can use it to help, and Mr. Rivera, do you think other people all have a story about growing up in Elizabeth, and how do you share those stories?
I feel like everyone has their own individual story about Elizabeth because no one person is the same as another person. As far as going about it, sharing your story, you can do it in many different ways. You can write about your story, you can do a film like we did. There's multiple variations of how you can share your story.
And what other projects have you guys worked on?
One project that I really liked was Twirage. They did last year.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I could never say it correctly, but yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, I really liked that project.
Yeah. Cassiel?
Also, the project that we had a premiere on Sunday, the What It Takes video that we did. One of the projects.
Were you in that, or did you work on that?
I was behind the scenes.
You were behind the scenes, because I enjoyed that presentation on Sunday. You participated in that other one as
I
well?
was one of the co-directors of the
Right,
film.
and did you participate? You didn't participate.
No, I was at show choir.
You were at show choir. Okay. Listen, I want to thank the 3 of you for joining me on the show in this video, and I wish you lots of luck, especially the 2 seniors who are graduating, and Cassiel, and in your future at the Arts Academy. I think you'll do a great job, and Mary Rivera has done a great job in teaching all of you as well. So I wish you lots of luck, and I hope to come back. Hope to see you again in the future. Okay? Thanks for sharing this. First of all, I want to thank Miss Mary Rivera at the Jefferson Arts Academy and Mr. Michael Ojeda, the principal, for working with my office in order to put this presentation together. I want to thank Miss Antonia Ramirez, Mr. Rashawn Hudson, and Miss Celine De Silva, who were on the first segment, as well as Mr. Greg Markowitz, Miss Cassiel Ramirez, and Miss Georgelina Balisage, who are on the second segment. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Sometimes you learn by helping others learn. Kane University.